For decades, he was the man everyone admired, the charming smile, the perfect family, the endless success. But behind the cameras, something darker was forming. The laughter that once filled red carpets began to fade. The man who once symbolized happiness was drowning in silence. And when the world finally saw the truth, it was too late to look away. This is not just the story of fame. It is the story of how power, love, and pride collided to destroy one of Hollywood's most untouchable icons. In the early years, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith were seen as the royal couple of Hollywood. Cameras followed them everywhere, capturing the smiles, the awards, the children who seemed destined for greatness. On talk shows, they spoke about love, trust, and spiritual connection. Fans believed they had cracked the code to a perfect marriage. But behind closed doors, the walls were not made of gold, they were glass. Every disagreement, every moment of doubt, echoed through that fragile home. People close to them whispered about tension, about Jada's growing distance, about Will's obsession with control. Yet on stage, they remained flawless, a brand, a symbol, a dream. The cracks were invisible, but they were there, spreading slowly, waiting for the light to expose them. Before the fame, there was only fear. A young boy from Philadelphia, hiding from his father's anger, pretending everything was fine. Will found his escape in words, clever rhymes, big smiles, endless charm. His music with DJ Jazzy Jeff brought laughter to millions, but it also built a cage around him. He was labeled the clean rapper, the friendly entertainer. Audiences adored him, but the streets did not respect him. When Dead hit and the IRS came knocking, Will thought it was the end. Then came a call that changed his life, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was supposed to be just another sitcom. Instead, it became his rebirth. The boy who once ran from pain now stood in front of the world, pretending everything was perfect, while deep inside, the wounds were never healed. The 1990s turned him into something else, a phenomenon. He became the face of a new Hollywood, a man who could sell laughter and courage in equal measure. Men in Black, Independence Day, Bad Boys. Every role made him bigger than life. But success came with a cost. Each smile felt rehearsed, each victory a performance. The higher he climbed, the less real it felt. People adored him, yet he began to fear the silence between applause. He spoke about greatness, discipline, and self-belief, but what he truly sought was peace. As his fame grew, so did the loneliness. He was everywhere, but nowhere felt like home. On the outside, he was unstoppable. Motivational speeches, best-selling books, perfect interviews. But those closest to him saw something else. Late nights staring at walls, endless attempts to prove he was still loved. The world's most confident man was becoming its most fragile. Every perfect husband headline felt like a lie he could no longer escape. Behind the cameras, Jada spoke of her connection with another man, Tupac Shakur. Their bond was something Will could never understand or replace. He confessed in his writings that he felt small, unseen, even as the world called him a legend. The mask began to slip, but he forced it back on, telling himself that real strength meant never breaking down. Not in public, not ever. It was supposed to be the greatest night of his career. He had waited decades for that golden statue. The audience stood in admiration, waiting for him to rise, to claim his moment. But when a joke was made about his wife, everything he had buried came rushing back. The anger, the humiliation, the years of being misunderstood, all of it erupted in a single, unforgettable act. The sound of that slap echoed louder than any applause he had ever received. In that moment, the man who built his image on love and discipline became the symbol of chaos. The cameras captured not just the strike, but the end of an era. The same people who once called him a hero now called him broken. As he sat back down, eyes shaking, the illusion was gone. The perfect life was shattered, and the world had witnessed it live. When the cameras stopped flashing and the applause faded, silence filled the room. For the first time in decades, Will Smith was not the man in control. His legacy, once built on discipline, optimism, and charm, was now tangled in humiliation. The world replayed that moment again and again, not to understand him, but to watch him fall. What followed was not redemption. It was a slow, public unraveling of a family that had lived too long under the spotlight. In the days after the Oscars, headlines spread like wildfire. The world did not see a man in pain. It saw a punchline. Memes, parodies, endless debates. Late-night hosts laughed. Social media tore him apart. His career, once untouchable, froze in place. Studios distanced themselves. Projects vanished overnight. And for the first time, the star who had always shined could no longer find his light. Behind closed doors, Will tried to apologize, but every word felt too small, too late. His fans wanted answers, but his silence only made the mystery deeper. People asked, what broke him? How did a man who preached peace lose everything in a single second? That question haunted him, and it would not go away that if Will's slap shook the world, Jada's words shattered it. Her show, Red Table Talk, had once been celebrated for honesty, but honesty turned into exposure. Millions watched as she sat across from her husband, admitting to an entanglement with singer August Alsina. Her tone was calm, her expression steady, while Will sat beside her, eyes glassy and voice trembling. The world did not see strength. They saw humiliation. What was meant to be a conversation became a spectacle. The internet turned their pain into entertainment. For many, that moment marked the true end of their perfect image. What had begun as a space for healing became a stage for judgment. Every episode after that drew fewer viewers, more critics. People no longer saw transparency. They saw two people trapped in a house built on secrets. The Smiths had once stood as Hollywood's symbol of success. Now, they were the warning. Jaden drifted further from fame, his words often strange, his ideas too heavy for his youth. Willow found her voice in music, but carried the scars of childhood fame, speaking of depression and disillusionment. The public, once fascinated by the family's unity, now mocked their every move. Their red carpets became reminders of what once was. Their words, once quoted for inspiration, now used for jokes. The more they tried to explain, the worse it became. Will's book, Jada's memoir, both written as acts of truth, only fueled the fire. People had already decided what the truth was, that the perfect family had never been perfect at all. Will tried to fight back. He spoke in interviews, apologized to Chris Rock, and promised growth. He returned to music, releasing new songs filled with reflection and pain. But the world had changed. The audience no longer wanted the hero. They wanted the man behind the mask, and when they saw him, they turned away. His music was mocked as desperate, his performances viewed as forced. The power of his smile was gone. He spoke of healing, of forgiveness, but every word felt haunted by that night. Hollywood had moved on. The man who once ruled it all now stood outside, waiting for a door that would not open. Years passed, and the noise quieted. The Smiths no longer tried to be perfect. They simply tried to exist. Will spoke of peace, of finding himself again. Jada continued her spiritual journey, searching for purpose in the ruins of fame. Willow thrived in her art, while Jaden chased meaning beyond music and movies. Yet, no matter how far they go, the shadow remains. That single moment, the slap, became more than a scandal. It became a symbol of pressure, pride, and the hidden cost of fame. The dynasty did not fall in a day. It cracked slowly, piece by piece, until the world saw the truth. And in the end, that truth was simple. Behind every perfect smile, there is a storm waiting to be heard. The Smiths gave the world their story, and the world never let them forget it.